Hey, blessed love, everybody. This is Ras Jesse from line of Judah House of Rastafari. I want to give everybody an update and thank everybody for the continued support that we're getting from all across the state and the country and even internationally. I appreciate everyone. So I went to court the other day on a holiday. They moved us into court on Ethiopian Christmas on January 6th. And so it was a jury status conference, meaning that trial will be in 1 week on January 14th. So I recently had acquired an attorney. I've been defending myself without an attorney for the majority of this whole last 5.5 years. So I obtained an attorney recently because they were trying to force me to trial. A trial without allowing me to present any religious defense or to file any motions. And so I got an attorney at the time. He signed on about 3 weeks ago, and he was willing to litigate or defend me on this case. We came to the jury status conference yesterday, and the court, Ellen Burrs, she told him that she still will not allow him to file any motions on my behalf. No motions. So what can an attorney do if he can't file any motions? She also told him that she's not going to postpone the trial to give him time to prepare. He told her that he was only on the case for 3 weeks and he hasn't even read all of the discovery. He hasn't been able to file any motions. He hasn't been able to interview any witnesses. And she told him she doesn't care. She's going to force him to go to trial and defend me that way. And he told her it's unjust to me for him to do that because he's not prepared and he would be ineffective to help me. So at which point the judge told her it's fine, he can withdraw and I can go defend myself at a trial with no lawyer, with no ability to call my witnesses or present a religious constitutional defense, and no ability to file any motions. So, and then the judge, she even offered me and told me she was offering me plea deals from the bench. I thought only the state can offer plea deals, but the judge was offering me plea deals from the bench even. So even despite all of those things, at that point I realized I don't have any ability. I can litigate, maybe I can do paperwork, but to go put 30 years of my life on the line with no lawyer at a trial, with no witnesses and no ability to present a defense and no ability to file any motions, surely, aside from everything else that you may believe about my own merits of my case, that alone is enough to let you know that there's corruption going on and they don't want this case to see the light of day. So long story short, to sum it up for you, this lower court, Ellen Burrs, refused to accept any motions from me and to deal with any of the issues about dismissing or religious issues and the issues of THC being legal in Wisconsin, the fact that they used the cocaine and heroin test to test my sacrament, not even a cannabis test. So all of these issues and more are now preserved on appeal. So part of this, I had to take a plea so that I could get a final court judgment from the lower court. Because why? Because the appeals court of Wisconsin and the federal court, which I have cases in, they already refused to hear my motions the same way the lower court judge did. Nobody wants to hear this motion. Nobody. So finally, the only way that the appeals court will listen to my motions, and the only way the federal court is going to listen to my motions, is if I have a final order from the criminal case. So how do you get a final order? You can either go to trial and win and get a final order. You can go to trial and lose and get a final order. You can have the case dismissed and you'll have a final order, or you can do a plea and get a final order. Well, they weren't dismissing the case. All right. Going to trial doesn't seem like an option when you don't have a lawyer, you can't file any motions, you can't call witnesses, and you can't present your defense. That's not a trial. That's a witch hunt, which is exactly what's been going on this whole time. Anytime somebody says that they use plants for healing, for religious use, or for part of their culture or religion, that person is designated as a witch. So this has been a witch hunt. They've been trying to witch hunt me and declare me guilty before a trial, which is essentially what has happened. They've said I can't present my defense of religion, but basically that I'm a witch and I have to go into trial as a witch, and I can't defend myself as any other position other than a drug dealer or a witch. So I said I'm not going into a trial like that. That denies me my due process. It denies me my defense, constitutional, and it also deprives me of equal protection that other similarly situated men and women and churches have for cannabis and other controlled substances that are used as sacrament. So I'm not going to go into that situation. So what I did, as part of my plea, I preserved all my rights, meaning all of my motions are still unruled on. All my constitutional issues that everybody has been waiting to get a ruling on, none of them have been ruled on. So now I have to go back into those courts to get a ruling in the appeals court and the federal court, because they were unwilling to make any rulings until a final order came back from the criminal court. I hope everyone understands what's happening. It was basically a witch hunt and trying to bully me into a plea. So as it is right now, I had to sign under duress. If anybody doesn't understand what that means, it's when somebody uses coercion or threat of force or deprivation of rights to force you into an agreement. So that's where we are now, and I'm continuing to mount evidence against these witch hunters, specifically Ellen Burrs, the previous lawyer Chris Taylor, who was a co-sponsor on the state 100% control cannabis bill. They put her on my case to be a judge. They put that witch hunter on my case. So all of her rulings are void, because you can't put somebody like that with a conflict of interest to make rulings over somebody who's representing a constitutional claim on cannabis, which is the opposite position of a 100% state-controlled cannabis program, as Chris Taylor had devised to present for Wisconsin. So that's where we are with everything. I appreciate everybody's support. This process is going to be ongoing now. I have no jail. I have no probation. So, but what I do have now is I have to wear this what they're gonna deal with me as like a shame of having a felony until my case is overturned. So that could take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, maybe even a year and a half. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I have a lot of these matters already fully written up and also filed in the courts already. So it shouldn't be that long. And I appreciate once again everybody that's understanding and staying with me. I'm not just doing this case for me, I'm doing it for everybody. And don't think for a second that I'm unwilling to defend this issue even at trial. But when you're being forced to a trial with no attorney, no witnesses, and no ability to present your defense at risk of getting contempt charges for mentioning it, then what do I have? I don't have a trial. There is no fair trial for me. That's what they've decided. I'm not going to get one. So they said, you better go take your issue up in appeals court because you're not getting a fair trial with Judge Burrs, the woman who chases people out of the courtroom to arrest them in the hospital, the one who's facing judicial disciplinary actions by the Judicial Commission currently on at least 2 other separate cases and about to be a third, mine. So don't worry, we're going to bring all these snakes out of their holes, and all these white supremacists and racist judges and politicians, you're going to get exposed. Rastafari over everything. You see? Ras Jesse, Line of Judah. I'm here. If anybody needs me, link me. We still have all the same sacrament if anybody needs. We're not going anywhere. So let's let this process continue. And in the end, we're going to win. And everyone who supports us is going to come celebrate with us. Appreciate y'all. Rastafari love.